Released in 2022, this unlicensed figure kit of Lunafreya from Final Fantasy XV is quite on brand with the usual lineup by SuperDuck. After all, she is the quote-unquote main heroine of the game, despite the fact she's barely even in it. Anyways, my complaints aside, the recommended body is the usual S10D model by TB League, which I'll once again be using for this kit. And without further ado, it's time to suit up. Typical of the portraits by SuperDuck, the likeness to Luna is only alright. The face could be a little rounder, and the angle and shape of the eyes could be a little more accurate. Though I think the main culprit that's throwing everything off a bit here is the complexion of the makeup. Luna rocks that all-natural look, but the eyeliner and lip color here are just way too pronounced. All in all though, this head sculpt is not bad by SuperDuck standards, and that's in part thanks to the sculpted hair. I'm really glad they went with this direction, as time and again, rooted hair has shown to be inadequate for pulling off bespoke hairstyles, such as that of Luna's. The double braids on the crown, the side-swept bangs, and the loose ponytail are right where they should be. The hair overall is not as voluminous, but I'd say it works well enough here. As for the costume, we have this white dress in which Luna is usually depicted. There's a zipper on the right that opens down to the waist, which is both good and bad. Good because it makes putting on the dress less of a struggle. Bad because the oversized pull tab just kinda hangs out there under her arm. It's not super noticeable, but it's hard to unsee once you know it's there. It's also a pain to actually zip this thing up, but to its credit, the seam is really well concealed when it's all done. The ruffles all throughout the dress are pretty stellar too. The embossed pattern, disguised as wrinkles, converges on the left side of the hip, almost as if the fabric itself is sculpted. I don't think this is all game accurate, but I do like how the fabric is very soft, very form-fitting, and even a little sheer. So not only can you see through it slightly under very bright lights, the physique underneath is also somewhat accentuated, which I gotta say is not a complaint. Then we have this crescent moon pendant that Luna is seldom seen without. Both the size and color are way off compared to the game. But then again, anything finer and more detailed is gonna require the cost and level of dedication that's well beyond a typical SuperDuck release. And finally, we have this pair of white-heeled ankle boots, which is exactly what Luna had worn on the altar when summoning Leviathan, though I wouldn't mind having an additional option for a pair of sandals, because Luna is often seen wearing those, which the PlayArts Kai version had absolutely nailed. The only accessory is the trident of the Oracle. But to be fair, it's not like SuperDuck's got much to work with, given that so much of Lunafreya's backstory was cut from the final game. The details, size, and ratio on this trident are also very on point. The relaxed hands are the only option provided by the base TB League body, though SuperDuck could have easily included a pair of gripping hands, like they did with their Aerith release. So I had to borrow those parts from that set in order to achieve some of the poses that you see here. And as always, the articulations are stellar because of TB League's trademark quality, though they are subject to the limitation of this tight and gaudy dress. But I'm always reminded, Luna had sadly never done much of anything in the game anyway, so I'm fine with what little posing options I have. And one last thing to note is that the boots on my copy are very loose, which is surprising considering how tough they are to push into the sockets, and thus a figure stand is highly recommended for any display. For the size comparison, let's start with the obligatory SuperDuck releases for Final Fantasy VII, Aerith, and the 2.0 Tifa with the costume by War Story. Frankly, none of the portraits here are 100%, but it's easy to see how sculpted hair can greatly improve the likeness, and this is especially the case for Aerith. And speaking of which, let's pitch Luna against the pretty boys of the Sculpted Hair Club, Cloud, and Sephiroth by the legendary Game Toys. This might be a fool's hope, but if Game Toys ever decide to make a Noctis with the royal arms and throne backdrop, then my life would be complete. And lastly, we have a comparison to Luna's counterpart by the official PlayArts Kai. Despite how critical I am of the SuperDuck release, I'd still say it's relatively preferable, as the recent releases by PAK are just setting the bar real low. So there you have it, the 1/6 scale Lunafreya by SuperDuck. I honestly never expected much out of the likeness, but I genuinely enjoyed the sculpted hair approach and the fantastically tailored dress. Considering SuperDuck's track record of bait and switch, the final product had turned out much better than I thought. coupled with the fact that Luna's character was never properly utilized, and the disappointment that is Final Fantasy XV, this might be the only chance for her to make an appearance in this hobby. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.